Welcome back to the least professional StarCraft 2, better known as Bronze League Heroes, with triple the heroes and our very first in the blue. Of course, it's human life. And, somewhat confusingly, the Terran player in the teal, it's Hydralisk. And last, but probably least considering the name, the Zerg in the red, it's Barcode. We'll just go with red. The team to the south, the yellow Zerg Verve. Over to the left side, the orange Protoss no scans, which, you know, makes sense. Meanwhile, finally, in the purple, our last Terran. It's Adan, sending a Liberator across the map, giving us so little time to beg you for likes. And maybe, if you haven't made it there yet, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,424 likes on this experience, on this cast, and maybe we'll cast another one. But hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully this is about to make you feel a little bit better about yourself. But the Liberator versus Spore Crawler duel begins. Adan decided to take advantage of that quick air distance across this map. Flashback indeed. And, well, it takes a Terran to beat a Terran. Hydralisk comes up with his Marines, as there are no Hydralisks for red at the moment. A Spore Crawler is in position to deal with it, but too little and too late. The Marines just swatted out of the sky. Quite a macro game as we've jumped in around the 5-minute mark. That is the only aggression thus far, besides some initial scouting attempts, as the Liberator. Another Liberator on its way across. If it ain't broke, well, you don't need to bring an SCV to fix it, but Liberator going to siege up at the natural. Well, whatever's close to it here. A little bit too close, but he has some time to readjust. Very focused on it. Several dozen APM right now for Adan. A Spore Crawler repositioning, but the Liberator's micro to be away. Beautiful micro. Adan, keep the pressure on. Also has some Widow Mines in a aesthetically pleasing location by these fancy trees. And now a whole bunch of Stalkers are headed across the map. No scans has put together. Does he have Blink? No. He's working on a Twilight Council. Would Blink have been a good idea? You know, that's a bit of a mixed bag when we're considering the context. But Hydralisk coming down with his Marines, while Hydralisks are in production for red. Meanwhile, those Immortals on point. Some Zerglings coming down as well to defend. But, oh no, he's target firing with the Marines, and that means the damage is going to be spread out. Well, not so much spread out as mitigated by the fact the Immortals have so much armor. The Marines are cleaned up, but the next wave comes down as human life has anything but Cyclones, Siege Tanks, Hydralisk SCV out in front. The Hydralisk picked off from red, and now the Cyclones will deal with the rest. But here comes another round. The Lings and Banes rolling into the natural. The Verve here is a wave across the center, but the Spine Crawler, the backbone of the defense, and Adan has one of his two favorite units here, the Liberator, to help out. One of the Liberators using what it technically has as an anti-air mode. The Cyclones outflanked from the back. Who could have predicted this? Adan caught looking the wrong way once again. Spore Crawler's moving up. Zerglings onto the natural of human life. But he does have another command center on the right side. Thor is here, because of course it is. More Marines and Vikings in production for Hydralisk. More Hydralisks in production for red. Thors and Widow Mines for human life. And what's happening? Everyone has gotten involved in these early fights already. But what is the follow-up, if any? More the same? Something a bit more technologically advanced? So far, the northern team has managed to put together a solid defense, but a Spire is completed, an Infestation Pit is on the way, a real buffet, 2 more macro hatches. As Verve knows, he needs that larva, and the injects are going to be few and far between. The combined armies of the north moving to intercept the Zerglings from the south. Overall, the combined supplies favor the northern team, and they have a very solid army for just moving out together. Medivacs heal Terrans and Zerg alike, as you can bring them along. Hydralisk can heal the Hydralisk. A wave of Banelings. Does he have Baneling speed? Yes, and upgrades as Verve is looking to continue to keep the pressure on. He's got to be, well, he creeped his way down the ramp, which means this robo is in a very uncomfortable working environment, as are the warping and stalkers. Some liberators will be countered by a get off! This general area, not really the creep, but that's enough. Okay, Brenda, let's get you back to creep. Shh. The banelings are rolling in, incidentally killing Hydras. He's looking for a juicier target, and the mineral line of human life is looking pretty good right now. The banelings, oh no, he keeps A-moving, he's really struggling. And the SCVs will escape as he was able to distract the Lings and Banes. He kept fighting against the A-move, but eventually the A-move won. Alright, well, where does that leave us? The defenses are continuing. The Queen's coming down. Red a bit more considerate with his creep spread, or negligent, depending on how you want to look at it. Marines streaming across now. Aiden has put together 44 Marines and nothing else, it seems, right now. He has some medevacs somewhere. They're on their way across. That skin, yep, those are Marines. And that is, the Marines are very brave. But that doesn't translate necessarily into success, as like half a dozen Thors, 10 Hydralisks, multiple siege tanks, and a bunch of roaches are going to make life incredibly difficult. Well, human life will make Aiden's life incredibly difficult. But here we go. The mech army, the Hydras, the procession, right-clicked on one of those Thors in order to make sure they're in the fight when they need to be. Though I'm not sure what'll happen when the actual action begins. And speaking of, the tank's kind of caught in the front. The Hydra's trying to get involved. Widow Mines will connect with a full broadside on the Stalkers. Human life is trying to put the Hydras in front of him, and Hydralisk is swinging in with the Marines, but the Colossi and Marine combination is more than enough to deal with it. Hydralisk throws out a scan. The Vikings may be able to knock down the Colossi, and the Marine count is so damn high underneath. They didn't deal with the Widow Mines. Drilling Claws must be done. Indeed, that's the only upgrade human life has, so that's the kind of player he is. There's an Ultralisk Cavern in production. Red is taking up to essentially the entirety of the Hive Tech buffet. Zerglings intercepting a handful of Marines. Marines intercepting a handful of macro hatcheries. 7 Ultras are in production for Verve right now, who does not have oh, surprise! The Ultras just pop out in the midst of everything and start cleaving through the Marines. Those, and I think, therefore I am. But also, well, these Widow Mines have to be dealt with. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for, Widow Mines have a tendency to be permanent fixtures on the map in games such as this, as bringing detection is one of those things that sounds like a great idea until the action starts, and then you can't hear anything but blood rushing into your ears as the stress continues to mount, despite the fact you're playing a team game instead of 1v1, and who plays on a barcode in 3v3. But I digress. Ultras on Red's base. He has chitinous plating in production, but no Ultras in production. Here comes Hydralisk Marines and Red's Roaches. A single lurker, but down goes the base. Meanwhile, some Stalkers cutting up the Marines at the natural. Some drone transfers as well. Another base conveniently placed for the Ultras to cleave through as well. And he doesn't have Ricky the Accidental Swarm Host is on the way for Red. Those Paperlisks are easily pin-cushioned by the Marines and some of the Roaches. Stalkers cutting off reinforcements. But Aiden's bio... I'm not going to call it a bio ball. It's more like a bio... It's a few dudes. Alright? Just a few dudes. Having fun, being dudes. You know, just guys being dudes. And now dead. And Ricky! No! He's fine. He could get healed by medevacs. The Accidental Swarm Host on the field. Now, the drop of doom. I'm not even gonna try to figure out what those scans are. Brenda! What, Susan? What? We can't put creep everywhere. The Terrans don't like it. Since when do you care about what the Terrans want? Well, I don't see you transfusing me, but the medevac did. All right, that's all I'm saying, Susan. The drop is headed towards the main. The entirety of the main and most of the Terran army will drop out. Verve retreats. The Colossus is in place. Down goes the Hetry, but smartly putting the Hive at the natural. Verve with some real, oh no, the siege tanks. The Ultras sliding underneath the Colossus. Quite a quirk of things. The Ultra trapped in by the Bio Army, but for the most part, this is cleaned up. The Blink Stalkers to chase down the Medivacs. The Bubulas will slow them down. Meanwhile, another fight. More Ultras. Ricky's here as well. He's got the Collector's Edition skin, or is that the Terran skin? They look kind of similar, which is a little meh when you think about it. But Ultras chewing through another base. The drops waiting for their opportunity. Hydralisk scanning on top of his drops, but close enough. The Ultra fight! There's, oh my god, he has 13 Ultralisks! And he just gets chewed up. Red, cleaved in twain. The Widowmine still fighting some damage. Human Life has 13 Widowmines scattered throughout. I don't know if a single one has been taken out. Only 2, and I bet it was accidental. As no detection has been provided. Oh, things like this keep happening. But these Widow Mines keep racking up the damage. As they, oh, a scan! He realized it! The Blink Stalkers are here to clean it up. I don't know if there were some pigs, but more reinforcements are coming across the map. Meanwhile, Aiden, working on that center line base. Marines, joining up with the Thors. The northern team is starting to consult. Hydralisk has 200 supply. That is 78 Marines and 69 SCVs, but still a pretty nice army composition considering. He's got +2 upgrades to Colossi. Fighting back, but crumbles under the force of the combined Terran and Token Zerg Bioball. Meanwhile, the Ultras are chewing through on the other side. The Planetary will try to hold the line. It will reduce the surface area, but not shut it down entirely. The Thors, more Ultras. Hydralisk abandons his teammates, picks up in the midst of the fight, and leaves them to fight on their own. The SCVs, the base was taken out, and the SCVs are retreating, unfortunately, into the drops of Aiden. Meanwhile, the Thor, more Widow Mines. What happened to those Medivacs? It looks like they're coming back across the map. Meanwhile, Ultras, combined with this small little Bioforce, just shredding the drones. But Liberators are on the field, and he easily takes out the rest of those Ultras. Oh, that Thor cut to pieces. More Widow Mines being dealt with. He brought some observers. I think he may have lost. Oh no! More Widow Mines scattered throughout. Lurkers! No, you're coming with us, sir. Sir, no, you're coming with us. I think the Ultras do want to actually follow along, but, well, here we are. Meanwhile, second Spire, third Spire? I don't know how many Spires. No, that's his third Spire is on the way. See if he makes any of those Spires great again. Meanwhile, Ultras chasing down. It looks very odd to have Ultras that close, like within sniffing distance of the Marines, and not actually chewing them up. But a tenuous pact here between the Zerg and the Terran. As Barcode, it's only at 63 supply, but his supply is 4 Ultras, a Lurker. It's a very valuable 63 supply. Hydralisk has a huge amount of Marines, and now 12 Liberators. The Liberators, oh my god. The Spirograph of Liberation. And, wait, whose army is it? Oh, it was a Widow Mine he's dealing with. He actually sends a Stalker in front. I'm not sure if that's accidental or not. But another engagement lining up. But how do you deal with that many Liberators? The Ultra was dragged into the Parasitic Bomb is a good answer. Good answer. Hydralisk Liberators just melting to the Parasitic Bomb. He has enough for another, but 2 Corruptors out as well. Viper usage in Bronze League Heroes. Are we sure that's not a perfect? That guy's building more Vipers than Raynor usually does. And he takes out the vast majority of the Liberators with a couple Parasitic Bombs and a couple Corruptors. What a play by Verve. The real MVP of the team so far. Where is Aiden? Aiden's at 76 supply. Yeah. Meanwhile, no scans is trying his best, but Verve is putting the team on his back right now. as those corruptors working. Oh, the Hydralisk drops in with some more Marines, though. And while the parasitic bombs are good, the Marines are more than enough. Meanwhile, the entire division of Ultras, the gang of Ultras up to the north side for Verve. So he's defending with Vipers on one side and doing an Ultra counterattack on the other. The Thors pound an Ultra into oblivion. The Queens are eviscerated by the Ultralists. The Thors are retreating to the few Liberators that are left. There's still one of Red's Ultras underneath. It does a lot of damage to the Marines. Good luck coming up that ramp. Every single cleave is so painful. There's very limited anti-air. The Liberators, the anti-air mode is hitting the Colossi, but the Ultras are chewing through the base. Oh. The Ultralists from Verve just swinging around. There's not that much mining left on either side. Almost everyone's income but human life is under 1,000 minerals a minute, and human life is at barely over 1,000. That's less than one full base of income, which is around 1,500 to 2K, depending on several factors. But so it's not like we ever were maxed out and banking up money, but things are getting even dicier. The Liberators keep going. Does he have ship weapons upgrades? No, he has mech weapons upgrades, which he might not realize does not carry over. As some players will mix them up. And it could be a real issue. The Widow Mines for human life. Very key to take it. The Ultras have made it back. Verve has lost 15 Ultras, but he's still got 12 on the field. The combined supplies still in favor of the northern team. With this many Liberators, it's going to make life very difficult. The Lurker is taken out for Red, who's now long-distance mining. He's down to one mineral patch. There's a command center lying around up here. Both teams clearly stretched to the limit here. But who will break first? As Red is long-distance mining. Wait, oh, he's trying to drag the Ultras along. Wait, Human Life has his mech army here in the center of the map. It will be scouted out, but the Marines are chasing down the Colossi with the Liberators, but those Colossi are just melting. That's 3-3-3. Oh, here come the Ultras. Daddy's home, and he brought all his friends. Ugh. Meanwhile, the Liberators are killing the Colossi. The Ultras are fighting on the ground. There's one Ultra of Red, but some Immortals helping out as well. The Liberators will finally siege up and easily take out anything underneath. But he can't, well, And the supply gap just flipped, as Verve now has the highest supply on the map. Hydralisk is competing for it, and he's got several command centers. Another Thor goes down. There's still some Widow Mines scattered throughout, much to the dismay of random Zerglings rallied across. Red is at 36 supply. Human Life has some minerals in the bank, is at 85. Hydralisk is the only one comfortably mining at all on the northern team. Meanwhile, now that's love right there. If only you could actually just you really should be able to return it to your teammates stuff. It just a very slight aside while we have a tiny moment. It's been a continual source of increasing disappointment over the history of StarCraft 2 that there was absolutely no effort made to make team games anything more than a bunch of 1v1 players shoved in together. And players make the most of it, but there's so many missed opportunities there, in my opinion. But still, it still can make for some of the most dramatic games. The Widow Mines just obliterating the bio. The splash. Speaking of. Oh no, the Marine gets thrown onto the next map. Hellions. That is one way to spend your minerals, as he has almost no Vespene gas left. Where are you even transferring to? That is very optimistic. Command center on the way. The Ultra still. Technically, if you neural parasite can get into a medevac, but Verve and Aiden now, both over 100 supply. Only Hydralisk with 51 Marines, 8 Liberators. His upgrades 3/3 and +2 mech weapons. And again, unfortunately not ship weapons. Gonna try a drop. Verve getting chased down. And that's not gonna work out. He tries to get behind the mineral line. Aiden does not actually have any upgrades on his bio. No, wait, he has +1 infantry weapons, which is not enough. So he gets shredded by Hydralisk's fully upgraded Marines. But eventually the Liberators and the Stalkers come up. Oh my, I've seen that video before. The Ultras surround one of their reg counterparts and rip it to shreds. Barcode is technically still in the game, averaging the most APM, though consistently at, well, very typical of a Barcode player at less than, in the Metal League levels, to have an inflated APM ego that is counterbalanced by their severe lack of, well, pretty much everything else. The Widow Mines will be dealt with. Observers and Team Aiden. Oh, really, Team Verve moving forward. The Ultras just continue rampaging throughout all of the mineral lines. He's lost dozens, but he can afford even more as Verve has expanded to multiple bases on the right side of the map. He has 3 spires. He has +3/+3 for the Ultras. And Hydralisk has fully upgraded bio, which means that Aiden's army actually gets shredded. The Liberators aren't enough. And let's not even talk about Protoss units here. Easily dealt with. And actually, Hydralisk is holding it together. But is there an answer for the Ultras? Eventually, oh no. Will it burn? Eventually the Corruptors will work their way through. They cleared a path for the Ultras! And there must be an answer to the Ultralisk. He's gonna try to siege up the Liberators or just fight. But the Corruptors covering the Ultras. The orbital burns. And that will be pretty much the end of mining for the Northern team. And, well, through all the fire and fury, I think they may have, well, there's still an opportunity to throw. As a great man, Hydra once said, when I'm really far ahead and I want to lose, I build Ultras. Now, Ultras have gotten buffed so many times since then, one way or another, but between the Liberators, oh my, he's covering the Marines. This is quite a terrifying minigame. With 5 Liberators to cover the Bio Army. If the Ultras get any more than a couple swipes off, why is there always a pet Ultra being carried around from Red? What is going on here? The Ultras are trying to come around the back. A Thor may get nabbed. The Corruptors are working on the Liberators. He desperately needs them, but the Stalkers on one side, the Ultras on the other. The Liberators up above. And without the Liberators, no matter how strong your ground army is, the Ultras will cleave through. There's a single Ultra in front. The Liberators helping out a bit. But the Bio Army is caught between in Hydralisk. Should have brought the Ultras. And I think that's it. Verve closes the distance. He's still barely at 100 supply. Hydralisk taps it out. Human life is gone. And Red as well. Wow. Victory goes to the Southern team with their team captain Verve. Aiden kept the pressure on with his bio. No scans filled in the gaps. And it felt like the Northern team just never could bring their strength to bear. They didn't have the teamwork, the coordination that we saw from their counterparts, and thus didn't deserve the title of victor. And that brings us to our anti-spoiler bonus game, which is StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2 with pro players. So, what an experience. A true testament to the teamwork. And even though we only had like 100 APM, so most of those players I don't think were actually bronze. It was somewhere between silver and platinum across the board. But, here we are. Shin versus Rebellion. These two are pro players / top grandmaster. But We're playing StarCraft Evolution Complete. SC Evo for Jimmy! Thank you. Gotta go back to my corner. And we're on Polypoid. The beautiful version of the Brood War map specifically for this mod. Our StarCraft 2 Zerg is Shin, whereas our StarCraft 1 Protoss Rebellion. He's got a forge on the way. Well, cannon rush it is. Oh my god, a triple pylon block. And does Shin have any knowledge of this at all? He's scouting. He's taking a look around. Oh, he tried to send the drone down the ramp and he couldn't do so. It was blocked off. And the cannon rush will begin, but you're not getting through this in time. He will cancel 2 of them, but then use the pylons to body block in. The drones are pulled, but the cannon's already on the way. And pylons, Brood War pylons, have more HP than their StarCraft 2 counterparts. So it's almost impossible to take them down before that cannon finishes. So Shin will just cancel the base. Says, well, this is some real Shin right here. And move on with his life. He does have a third base location, I guess we'll call it. Though there is still a cannon in between him and sending anything over to that base, so... Well, body facility on the way for Rebellion behind. Who's expanding as well. And preparing his defense. He's got a cannon at the back. There are shield batteries, but the shield batteries are both better and worse in Brood War. They do a lot faster shielding, but they must be microed onto units. And they only work for units, technically, as well. I don't believe they can be targeted on buildings. You don't have access to shield battery overcharge either. They also have a very cool look that they added with the custom models in this mod. What happened here? Oh, he took out a cannon with the queen. And only cost 98% of her HP, which is... No, where are you going? Brenda? Brad? 3 hours later. Oh, hello, Susan! Well, the drones are coming down. The Zerglings decide that it's worth losing a few lings in order to open things up a little quicker. Dragoon is done. Shuttle on the way. As well as shuttle speed. And, wait, is there a Robo Bay? No Reaver? The shuttle, I guess, provides high ground vision and some options, but just a bunch of Zerglings. He's working on the destructible rocks here. Not sure what he's gonna do with a single shuttle. Well, now they're... Oh, wait, Wow. That cloaking device they used on my brain. There is a robotics bay. It's right there. It's right next to it. And was the entire time. All right. Well. Reaver drop. A classic tactic. We'll see if it works out for him. Did he start the Scarab production? So, they've gone back and forth in the mod on whether you have to manually start Scarab production. I do believe it is, we'll see if he drops out beforehand. It will be very awkward if he drops out with no shots in the tank. So, oh my god, Ursadon. Chasing it down. And the queens? He's just gonna go for the natural. The Reaver full of scarabs. Oh! Chases it around town, blasts off another shot. May lose a Dragoon, but it's gonna cost a lot of the Zergling. Reaver has 9 kills and counting. Slaps a scarab into the queen. And only takes 2 to kill those queens off, but there's a lot of them. There's not enough energy for transfuse, though. Behind this, we're looking at Charge, +1. Another shot. Obliterates a queen, but that... Oh, barely holds it together. But the shuttle does escape. Shin up to 46 drones. Rebellion re-shields the shuttle. Brood War shields regenerate slowly, oh so slowly over time, as opposed to somewhat more quickly out of combat, like StarCraft 2. In case you're wondering the difference. But the shield battery supplements a lot of that, as we saw there. But there's no repairing that shuttle unless you got an SCV contracted out in your pocket. Baneling nest on the way. Shuttle drop. Heading in 2 Reavers now. Enough to slam those queens. Brenda, watch out! Damn. The queen's getting sniped. Corrosive bile. The Reaver's not known for their agility. That's why they bring the handy-capable shuttle alongside them as much as possible. Chasing things down. One of those Reavers is very badly hurt. Another one. Oh, that's a lot of damage. And just obliterates another smattering of Zerglings. Oh my. Morlings, Ravagers, put together. Shin has the supply lead, but dealing with those Reavers is quite a dramatic effort. The 3rd base is being taken. Shin doesn't have such a huge economy. He can just sit back and be comfortable forever. Ideally, you collapse on that 3rd base before they have access to both the Reavers and Brood War Storm, which does an absolutely redonkulous amount of damage. It's almost twice the damage of the StarCraft 2 version. Of course, those Templar got to be built one by one out of the gateways. No fancy warp gates here. I think I'd probably take Storm doing almost at least 50% more damage over worrying about warping in, especially Templar, which, does he have Darren Amulet? He does not. So he doesn't pop out with a Storm, but it charges up pretty quick. Yeah, Templar on the field. Not too much in the way of basic gateway units. There are Reavers, there are Templar, and Zealots and Dragoons as well, and basic gateway units are stronger than their StarCraft 2 counterparts across the board, but that just isn't that much of an army. It comes down to this. Well, the Storms could clear out almost all of the Lings and Banes in a good wave, so that doesn't necessarily mean... Oh my god, the Reavers chunking up the Banelings. Gets almost all of them to the north side, but he needs the shuttle to be able to maneuver. The creep spread on the way. And Storm! Oh my! Category 5! And forces out the Archons. A massive set of Reaver hits from the back as well. And Rebellion has melted and obliterated the entire Zerg army. Okay, I underestimated his power. And the power is now overwhelming. As Shin, the supply lead, completely evaporated under the withering storms. And the Reavers as well. Just a tsunami of splash damage across the board. The shuttle is taken down with the Reaver inside, and without any more... Oh, wait a second. You really need that splash damage. The Dragoons are good, but without it, he needs more Templar. Dragoons rallying across the map. The Queens help pull it together. There are no more Reavers in reserve. And I feel like the Reavers on the back line made a huge difference in tilting that fight. So Rebellion is pushed back towards his third. Did he do enough damage? He did no economic damage to Shin, who does not have a hive, does not have an infestation pit. So, and does not have a way to get out of his base. With... We've all been there. Ah, it's at this moment you realize why they invented the warp gate. He just killed his... Was that his Twilight? Or his Citadel, rather? I believe it was, which he already has Zealot legs and the Templar Archive, so it's served its purpose. Banelings, though, rolling it from the north side. They get a dozen probes. And that is a real hit to the economy. He was looking the other way at the, admittedly, attention-drawing Ravagers. And loses a critical amount of probes. Rebellion now down 50 supply. Did he build another Reaver? No. Dragoons and Zealots against +2 melee attack. Otherwise, oh, the storm's on the morphing Banes. Another storm. Rebellion as an SC2 pro might be underestimating how many storms he needs. You only need one to kill almost every unit. Maybe Ravagers take 2. I think it's 120 damage. It's a ridiculous amount. SC2 storm is 80, and that's if you sit right under it. Ooh. Though, unfortunately, that's not a warp prism. You don't have the pickup range. Corrosive bow scattered about. There's one more storm ready. He drops it and hits a whole lot of nothing. And now, Shin sees an opportunity. He melts through the Dragoons, and there's just... Well, GGWP and some other strong words as well, but Rebellion is eventually taken down, knocked out, and dealt with. I think those are all different ways to say the same thing, but that's kind of my whole job. But hopefully you enjoyed both our Bronze League heroes and our StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2. A bit of a variety pack here. As much as I love the best of the best, seeing some of the rest, I think, is sometimes worth a look. So, if you made it this far, it'd be awesome if you could leave a comment, like, subscribe, and make sure to check out more of the Bronze League heroes. And we still have a playlist of them, even if they're not all titled that, because for some reason, actually titling it that doesn't do much for the algorithm. You gotta bait them in. But thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made your day just a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But again, like and subscribe. And still free for now. If you haven't yet checked out the second channel for more content, more variety as well, Winter Gaming TV, if you're interested. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.